I have been asked to show you how to create an SVG file from a PDF sewing pattern. So today I'm going to show you how to do that. But the first thing you need to know is that you have to have Business Edition of Silhouette Studio so that you can upload a PDF. But let's jump in and get started. Okay, blank screen here in Silhouette Studio. I'm in Business Edition. I'm going to come to my open, and I have this kitty rattle PDF sewing pattern that I got from Design Bundles, and it's from I think it's Toy Sewing Pattern is the store name. I will link this file below. It was a free file I was able to download. And then we're going to open the PDF version of this cat rattle pattern. I already unzipped the file. And then here is the PDF of the file that you would normally use to you would just cut your fabric, trace this. And then you'll notice here you get a couple of options of what you can do. You can import it as a vector, or you can import it as an image. I don't know that it necessarily matters which option you choose here. We're going to select to ungroup. We're going to do it on a current page range. We're just going to do one. It's only one page. So I'm going to click, I've got selected import as vector, but we're going to go ahead and hit import. So now it is imported that onto my mat, and you'll see this is now like the part that it pulled out of there, but I can delete that. But you'll see this is still just one big piece here. So we need to do something with this so that we can still turn this into an SVG. And the key to this is going to be using your trace panel. So I'm gonna come over here to my trace panel, and you've got lots of options when you hit trace, but we're gonna click this select trace area. And then depending on what you want to do will determine the trace that you want, but I'm just going to trace, I want all three of these parts. And then I'm going to hit, first I'm going to just hit trace outer edge. And then if I pull this away, there is my outer edge. Now you notice it's got these little tick marks because it's pulling these ticks that are on here. So is it perfect? No. And then I can just release compound path. And then I'm going to hold down my shift key. I'm going to deselect these larger parts that I want. And then I'm going to delete all of the rest. So there's my main parts. Now, if you wanted the face, so now let's go ahead and select trace area. We're going to just do the head. And now I'm going to turn that threshold maybe up a little bit more so it gets all of the parts. But if you go too far, it's going to get some of that the watermark on there. So I think I like that look right there. And then now this time I'm just going to hit the regular trace. And now you'll see that traced the face, it traced everything. But now what I can do is I can zoom into this here. And then you can decide what part of this, if any, that you need. So if you wanted that face, now you have that face. But look at these. These are not perfect on this head piece because it had the tick marks in there. So if you don't want the tick marks because you're going to turn this into an SVG. So now I'm going to double tap. And I'm in my point editing. We're going to zoom in some more onto the part of the design I want. We'll double tap. And then I can come in here and I'm just going to hit the delete key and delete these larger points that are sticking out to try to make this more of an actual circle shape, because that is what you're going to want. Whoops. when you want this to be an SVG. Oh, and we missed a few. Okay, double tap, delete, Control Z. So this one, I'm gonna zoom in here really close. So what I'm gonna do with this one here is I want to break path. And this spot here, I'm going to break path, and I'm hoping, nope, where did it break? And it never breaks where you think it's gonna break. Didn't break, come on. Come on. So now I can't delete it. I'm going to simplify. Nope. I always have trouble with these path breaks. They never break where you want them to break. But I can also take this handle and just like try to get rid of that. And same with this handle, just try to get rid of that spot. And this one I can delete point. And we're getting closer. Now I can delete that point I just created. And I'm just gonna delete that point. And then this one you're just gonna have to smooth out. I mean, you still have to do a little bit of work, but that looks a little better. Let's see, we still have some other spots that we have to clean up, but you can go through and do all of that point editing, clean those up a little bit more. And then that would be, now you've got your outline of these pieces if you wanted to use them to cut out. And then for these inside pieces, let's say, okay, now we don't need the head. We've got all that. So I'm going to release this compound path. And I'm going to just hold down the shift key. I'm going to keep the eyes. I'm going to keep the nose. And I'm going to keep the whiskers and the mouth. But now I don't need the rest of that, so I can hit delete. And with all of these parts, I'm going to make them a compound path. And I'm going to give that a color. I'm going to get rid of the outline just so that you can see now when we zoom in, whoops, that these now also have substance to them. They are going to cut very, very thin. This one, now we can also come through and give everything here some color just to make it easier for you to distinguish what these parts are. This little triangle is your ear. So we want that gray. Oh, you can't see the gray. There. Okay, so now I would have to come in here and I would drag a copy. So you have ears for both sides of the head. Rotate them. You know, this is how you would sort these out. You know, and this might not be the best, like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna cut this out and make it out of, I don't know, vinyl. I don't know that this is truly a project that you would do that with, but that answers your question. So now we have all of our pieces. So let's say we put these on our mat and let's go to the sun panel. Oh, let's get this off our mat. But you can see now it's going to cut out all of these pieces individually. And I will say this face might be a little thin. It might be difficult to cut. We'd probably have to edit that some more. And let's like I would probably just use an offset on that entire piece. We're going to do an external offset, maybe not quite that large, but a little bit more of a reasonable offset, 0.075. We'll hit apply, and then I can pull that part out of here, and then I would come in, and I'm going to delete this inside part of that triangle. Okay, I don't like the way that looks either. Okay, so release this compound path. So now everything is separated, and then I would take, I would not do the eyes. I would just do this part first. And let's do even smaller offset than that. 0.05 apply. Ooh, okay. And then we'll see. And now because we did, there we go. Oop, we don't want to move that. Control Z. We're going to grab the purple ones here and move those out of the way. Because, whoops, we released their compound path. That's why these are now in individual pieces. And then I would take these eyes. Let's do this. I'm going to hold down Shift, whoop, select just the eyes. And then I'm using my arrow keys and scoot those up. And then now I'm going to offset those with that same amount of offset, that 0.05, hit apply. And then you can decide if you want those closer. So like that. And then again, we get rid of the purple. So now I'm going to delete all of this original. We'll delete that one. And then now I can grab all of these. We're going to make them a compound path. And now let's make these pieces purple. We'll get rid of the outline. So now that's a little bit thicker. You can cut that out and that'll still look really cute. That'll be easier to work with. And then now you'll see when you come to your sun panel, everything's going to cut out around those pieces. And we did all of that from a sewing pattern. So that is a quick down and dirty of how you can make an SVG. Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it an SVG at this point. Now it's just a cutting vector file. So if you wanted to save this as an SVG again, you would have to have Business Edition. And then you would go to File and you could save as a SVG. You could save this as a Silhouette Studio file. However you want to save it, but save it to your hard drive. So that is how you do it. Down and dirty, sewing pattern to cut file.